Bow. What's going on, everybody? Bow. What's going on, everybody? Bow. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, a.k.a. Spooky Bobby. Holy da-da.
Well, I can't follow that. I'm Tony Friday the 14th.
And I'm Hot Mike Chance. Hit the Cash App.
It's a common theme with him.
I'm Jordan. The Viz.
We got the Viz back again.
He's back.
For a special episode today.
Halloween.
Hey, man. It's getting around that time, boy.
Yeah, we're
Halloween
like 2 weeks away from Halloween.
Yeah, and this is going to be a two-parter. So we
Yep.
spoke to you earlier in the month when we kicked off the month of October episodes with Halloween-themed movies. Mm-hmm. That we were going to do a two-part episode breaking down the franchise of Halloween.
Yeah.
So this is going to be part one. We're going to cover Halloween through Curse of Michael Myers, part 6.
Yep.
But yeah, man, we brought the guy. All the guys are here. I'm excited about doing this. We've spoken about this before.
It's a big
5
franchise.
years ago now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But since then, 3 movies have came out. 2 or 3 movies have come out since then, and everybody's opinions have changed some.
Yep.
Maybe not a lot, but
2018 had just come out.
it just dropped. Yeah. So there's been 2 since.
Yeah.
My rankings are different, a little different than from that video. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
My feelings have changed on some of the movies in this franchise, and I think we talked about it in that video as well. When it comes to like the big the big franchises when it comes to horror, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I guess you could throw Child's Play with it in there with it. I think Friday the 13th probably is solidly the best franchise with the best movies as a whole out of this one.
Yeah,
I agree.
The majority, I do too. I agree too. I will say Friday the 13th, they do have the best, the most watchable ones.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like quality, it's essentially the same movie.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It doesn't stray too far away from the same movie. Almost every movie.
It's like Jason Goes to Hell or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
But
when it comes to this Halloween franchise, you can see how many different hands have been brought into this franchise and royally screwed up a good chunk of these movies.
Yeah.
And because, man, it's
every 2 or 3 movies are like dramatically different.
Yeah.
Like there's the first little set and the second little set. They're all dramatically different.
Timelines all over the places. I mean,
this one doesn't abide by the rules that have happened in the other one. That's got its own thing. Same with Texas Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw was insane. Friday the 13th at least was.
Yeah. We got 13 movies with, I think, 4 different timelines going on.
But with all that said, Myers is still my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As an icon, he's just... He is him and Jason, to me, are the horror icons.
Yeah.
And coming from somebody, I'm a big Leatherface fan, but
yeah,
when you think like horror icons, the 3 that you think of is Michael, Jason, Freddy.
Yeah.
But the 2, 1A and 1B is Michael and Freddy, or Michael and Jason. Sorry.
Yeah.
What about you think? What?
This?
What about you think?
Hey, what about you think over there, Chad?
Throw it in there.
Yeah.
This is my favorite franchise until the recent Scream movies came out.
Oh, and that's another one that throw in there with the big ones.
But as far as like the old school, before like 80s horror movies, it doesn't get any better than Halloween to me. But I have seen Friday the 13th movies probably more than I have Halloween movies.
Yeah, because there's those, and we're going to get some in this episode, 4, 5, and 6 for me are just kind of, they're rough. But we can get into it. But before we do that, man, y'all be sure to hit the links up in the description, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Also, the link is in the description if you listen to them on audio format, whether you use Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever it is you use for podcasts, we're there. So you can just click that link and you can choose your platform to check it out on.
Yeah.
Shout out Trouble Spirits, shout out Nixon Pro Media, shout out Revolution One Media, and shout out to the Natural Disasters holding it down.
Right there, showing off the muscles.
Now off the muscles, baby. But yeah, man.
Let's get right into it.
1978.
The
first one, the OG, the best horror movie of all time?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. Easily the best horror movie of all time with using the least amount of gore in a horror movie.
Yep.
But just the way Carpenter shot the movie, the music, just every aspect of this movie is
best
just
horror music of all time, best horror theme of all time.
Yeah, I'll get.
I don't see how it's beatable.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's not.
It's iconic. And any time you hear those keys, it's just
which, if you replace the music like with different, just kind of standard movie music,
it changes.
It would change
everything.
I think it would fall off of the list completely. Like,
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
without the music.
And I think too, Halloween is probably one of the very few where the score is that important.
Oh, yes.
John Carpenter, man.
No, for sure. He's the GOAT. That something about that, like Jordan was just saying, you take that theme out, it's not. I mean, it's just I'm not saying it's just a horror movie, but that's such a huge part. It's just as important as Michael Myers is.
Yeah, it's a character just like Michael is.
Yeah.
It's a character just like Laurie Strode.
What John Williams did with Jaws and E.T. Like the music is what really, especially Jaws. You barely see the shark.
Well,
you just hear it.
And it's a very good comparison with Halloween. But you get some similarities with Jaws and Halloween where Michael is in the shadows. You don't get good looks at him, just like in Jaws where you don't see the shark, but you see everything that's going around it and everything.
Yeah. It's just really good music composition.
Yeah. And even the I forget what it is, the shape stalks Laurie or the shape hunts Laurie. That one right there. That just the whole score is just.
He did some magical stuff with the piano.
Yeah,
and it's very simplistic, like simple stuff, but it works.
Yeah, and I think like we were saying a few minutes back, like with it being such a important part to the franchise, it's essentially a lead character in itself.
Yeah,
the score to Halloween is a lead character right alongside Michael Myers.
I agree.
Because when you see Michael, and you either get the Halloween theme or you get the like the one you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah.
Like it's synonymous with Michael Myers. So like you don't get that really with. I mean, Freddy. You don't think about like off top of your head. It may take you a sec to put together the Freddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with Michael Myers, man, it's one and the same.
Well, and throughout all the movies too, you have some form of that main theme going on in every movie. It's changed up a little bit here and there throughout the franchise, but it's the same.
Yeah. Same
core
remixed here.
Got to be there.
And I get over time, changing some up. Some I liked more than others, but like I get like, kind of switching the little things here and there to kind of just revamp it or modernize it or whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. But the first one, I mean, obviously Nick Castle.
Yep.
And of course Carpenter wrote and directed it and did the music.
And did it for pretty much nothing. Mm-hmm. The budget was pretty much nothing.
$325,000.
Wow, that's
crazy.
Made $70 million worldwide at the box office.
That's insane.
That's a pretty good ROI.
Yeah, I guess 70 million worldwide. I don't know if that's box office or if that's
still
just
for
what
that
it's
kind
made.
of turnaround is
that's just people going to the theaters and spending money. That's not all the DVD, Blu-ray sales,
the VHS,
all the times it's been shown on
AMC
or like residual they get from that, just from the reruns of it or deals that it's been. I mean, dude, that $70 million on a $325,000 budget.
Insane.
That's just theater money.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
And the way that movie was shot, like that opening scene with the Steadicam, and you got that, it kind of looks like the one continuous shot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then you don't know who the killer is until like that.
He
the
walks
shot,
out of the house and everything.
And you're like, oh man, that's a kid that did that.
That's a kid that did that. Yeah.
Yep.
But you get a little bit of nudity. That's the most nudity you probably see out of a Carpenter movie. Out of that first, well, no, you get some nudity in Halloween 2 too. But the one thing that's there's hardly any blood at all in the original,
which is what I love so much about it because John Carpenter does such a good job with this movie that he does so much with so little as far as blood and guts, not a thing. And that was a thing. Or not a lot is in 78 because even Texas Chainsaw Part 1 didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the way that Carpenter was able to work that the way he did without having to cave in or take a shorter route.
Yeah.
Because it was all about the vibe and the mood and the setting and him setting the stage, which is what makes it such a. It's why it's the best horror movie ever to me.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you got Donald Pleasance with as Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
Great character.
Great character. He just, especially with Donald Pleasance at that time, he was more of a character. I don't want to character actor, but more of a fancy. He did more fancier roles than a low budget horror movie for $320,000. He was by far the biggest actor on that set and everything by a large margin. And he if you didn't have Loomis in there as well, I think the movie would be slacking as well in the movie.
Of course, yeah.
Or having somebody else playing Dr. Loomis.
Well, he's the one that gives you all the information that you need to know about Michael and why you should be so scared of him. And, he's like the exposition character that, keeps the story going.
No, he's for sure, and he's the one that you rely on to make get whoever's the main character to save him or to how.
He's kind of like the mean. He's kind of like the mean gene of horror movies to me.
My brain just went. Just like
shut down.
Dry erase board.
He just drops his head. He gives up. Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance is a great fucking actor.
He's fun because every now and then he'll say something super epic, and then there's other times where he's really off the wall and kind of kinky and weird, and it's he's an interesting character.
Well, he goes more and more batshit crazy as the movies go on.
It gets worse. Yeah,
right,
as time goes on.
I mean, look what Michael's doing to him and everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then 1978, bro.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously, yeah.
Was this her first role? Her first.
It had to be up there with her first, because this is
all before.
This one's got her
Terror
all
Train.
because
because 80s when she did the three, she did The Fog, she did Terror Train, and she did
Prom Night.
Prom Night, yeah.
And then Halloween 2 was in 81.
Yep.
But they set, of course, they set it up for a sequel. Do you think that they filming it that they realized that it would?
They knew they were going to have a sequel.
That they were going to have a sequel.
I don't think so.
No, because it was a couple of years later.
It was 3 years later.
Yep. 81, man. The year. You want to get right in part 2?
Yeah, we'll go roll.
So Halloween 2 is 1981, 3 years later. Obviously, John Carpenter, written by John Carpenter, but this one was directed by Rick Rosenthal.
Yep. And Dick Warlock come in and play. That played Michael Myers in this one.
Yeah, instead of a bitch ass Tony Moran, still cashing checks over that.
He was like
Halloween
the worst that year.
He's such a creepo too, bro. At the conventions.
Were you there that year? Mm-mm. No, you weren't. That was the year that you didn't go. That we sat in for that Halloween panel with Tony Moran.
You're talking about somebody collecting a check for virtually nothing.
Like 2-3 seconds of screen time, and he thinks he's like the greatest gift to horror movies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was a drunk too. I think he was drunk at his booth.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
I probably would be if I was him.
Yeah, if I'm having to do that, I mean, I'm clearly not happy with my life. But going back to Halloween 2, fuck Tony Moran. The Halloween 2 whole scenario, because Carpenter didn't want it to do part 2, right?
No, he didn't want. He wanted to end it on part 2.
Yeah, he wanted to end it at part 2, but I wonder why he didn't direct part 2.
That I don't know.
Because he wrote and directed, co-produced and did the score. Maybe
did all
he
the
might have
music.
just been busy doing other movies.
Because
that was his prime time when he was
81, making. I think Escape from New York was 81.
Okay. He might have just been too busy.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, Halloween 2, man, I love Halloween 2.
Yeah, Halloween 1
More
and Halloween
Violent Myers though.
Yeah, 1 and 2 you can. I have that cut. That cut where it just seems brings 1 and 2 together, and 2 is great as a sequel. It picks up right where one leads off, and it just, other than Jamie Lee Curtis's hair, it's fucking great.
And Myers, like they're right off the bat. It's just so obvious. Like, Laurie looks different, and Michael looks different. It's frustrating right off the bat for me.
Yeah.
But once I'm past that, it's a good movie.
That's one thing about this franchise too, is like the mask is not
what's so hard about it?
Keep it continuous. I guess that's
what's
the
so
word.
hard about that?
Oh, being consistent with the mask.
Yeah.
And then Laurie was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
She has like blondish reddish hair when she comes out of the hospital or into the ambulance.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I forgot what I went brain dead on mine.
Well, what I was going to say was what a difference 3 years makes in the sense of the style of horror movies. Even though Carpenter wrote this part 2, this is a lot different than part 1 in the sense of there was a lot more violent kills in this one.
Oh yeah, it's
especially
taken up a notch.
the hot tub. Like,
Yep.
That one, the boy,
her face is peeling off in the hot tub.
Just the violence. And Dick Warlock was great as Myers in this one.
Yeah, I like Dick Warlock, and he's a little bit shorter than Nick Castle, but he's a little bit thicker. The like you said, the mask is off a little bit, but
it looks okay. It's just that it's different.
I think it's still. I think it's from the original mold. But
it looks like he gained a little bit of weight.
Yeah, a little chunkier face. But my favorite kill is that hot tub one, and then the hallway kill with the nurse where he picks her up with the scalpel. Yeah. That's kind of like a little throwback to the Bob kill in a way. Yeah. I love you could definitely tell Carpenter is in his synthesizer phase with this one because you have that original score, but it's amped up a notch with some synthesizers in it and all that.
That's when because the 80s hit.
Yeah.
80s hit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he had to. It's kind of where everything was starting to go, and of course we speak about it all the time. We talked about the last episode, I think, or one of them, about 81 being such a huge year, which we did a whole episode, which is one of our best episodes.
Yeah.
Our most viewed episode is 81 Horror. Shout out to y'all for checking it out.
Another fucked up thing about it's like when they go to when I guess Laurie gets to the hospital, this kid coming into the hospital with the razor blade where he bit into some candy been into the razor blades. Did y'all ever know anybody that come across like razor blades in their candy as a kid? That was always threatened on us. Yeah, parents.
It was a fear
that we always had to. We always when we went trick or treating as kids, we always like looked through our candy. Like my parents like looked through the candy. We
never did once
just
to
make sure, but
needles or anything in there. Do you think it came from like this put the fear in people?
It may have, or back then too, man. That time frame, I'm sure that happened a lot. Just mean ass people.
Well, there was a time, I think in the 80s, like up in New York, there was some guy like poisoning like aspirin bottles. That was before they started putting the cotton in aspirin bottles and stuff and the protector seals and all that.
I hate that.
I always wonder why they put cotton
in there. It's just so annoying because you can barely get your finger in there to get it out. You got to peel pieces of it. You're giving little pieces of it at a time. You're just trying to get an ibuprofen or a goddamn heartburn medicine. And you just got to fucking... get tweezers. You got to go find a pair of tweezers. Fucking cotton.
So funny. Cotton in medicine bottles.
So funny, dude.
We go from a Halloween franchise to cotton in medicine bottles.
Hey, man.
That's us, baby.
Hell yeah.
Over the top,
baby.
But yeah, Halloween 2, love it.
So I found out why John Carpenter didn't want to direct it.
Let's go.
He said that he already made the film once and he didn't want to make it again.
Shout out to
So he just
you got to think, man.
Denied it.
81. So at that time there wasn't a lot of franchises that had sequels. Well, for one, Texas Chainsaw hadn't had a sequel yet. That was not till
Friday the 13th Part 2 was getting its sequel that year.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't know of a lot of other.
That's a good point too.
Franchises that was doing sequels.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Franchises wasn't even a thing.
No, or just just horror movies in general. There wasn't probably a lot of horror movie or sequels happening. So that was probably a thought where he was like, "What do you mean? Like I've already made it." Yeah. So I get that. But overall, this has always been my second favorite one.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Other than poor Ben Tramer. That's all Loomis's fault that he got killed.
Oh, but
by the car.
Yeah, the poor guy.
Dude, he's just walking around trick or treating, and then Loomis thinks he's Myers and yells at him, and then he gets plowed over by a police car.
Yeah. And then right after they hit him and like the car explodes, it's like they realize they made a mistake. Another cop car pulls up, like they have to rush across town, and they just get in the car and drive off, leave the scene. It's like,
and fun fact, Ben Trainer was supposed to go on a date with Laurie Strode that night. Didn't work out too well for poor Ben Trainer.
No Nani that night.
It was just so extreme. He gets smashed by the cars, then it explodes.
It was a very random thing to write in there.
Terminator scene or something.
It didn't have to turn it up. You could have just almost hit him.
Just some poor little teenage kid.
You could have just almost hit him, and then it'd been like a minor inconvenience, like it was the way y'all treated it, anyways. Because y'all treated it like you just fucking.
He fell down.
Hit a fucking squirrel or something. You're like, oh well, fucking well.
Yeah, bigger fish to fry here.
We got was on the roof shooting one of his arrows. The explosion was so big,
and it's not like he hit the gas tank of the car or the van that he got hit into. It's just where did the explosion come from? It should have just been like you hit him.
Right. That's funny.
But this was supposed to be the end of Michael Myers with the ending of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original plan, was after Halloween 2.
That's it.
No, that's it. No more Michael Myers.
So when was it spoken about where they were going to do a Halloween sequel each year that had something to do with Halloween, but not Michael Myers?
Well, it had to be decided in that year.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if it was like predetermined or if they were just like, well, do we do it?
Maybe not, since Carpenter wasn't involved.
Did he write?
He was a writer with Tom Lee Wallace on this one.
Yeah.
For Halloween.
And he still wrote the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He just didn't direct it.
He just didn't direct it, but
gotcha.
he was a co-writer for Halloween 3.
Okay.
But I'm not sure where the where the discussion started to go. Okay, we're ending here with Michael Myers. We're just going to put on a yearly Halloween movie, but just have it. Which, of course, with the Halloween 3 was Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
And still, like, franchises weren't like a big thing. It's like they're just trying something new.
Yeah, he just wanted to put out a Halloween-themed movie every year.
And it bombed for every single person that watched it.
Yeah.
In the beginning stages. Like, when we were kids, nobody liked it.
No. Growing up, I never gave it a chance because it didn't have Michael Myers in it.
Yeah.
I always knew it didn't have Michael Myers in it, so I was like, eh.
Yeah,
I feel like, for one, like, I get the disdain for Halloween 3 as part of the Halloween franchise, because Chance you're not a fan of Halloween 3 at all, and I get it.
Nope.
I will say, I think this movie is really dope. However, it should have just been called Season of the Witch.
Yes.
Not connected to the franchise.
It would have made, like, the score in it is so dope. Carpenter kills the score once again. I like the whole vibe of it. I like the whole creepy. I think it's really well-made movie.
Yeah.
I just hate that and I get what they were trying to do, and clearly they realized this isn't going to work. Let's jump back to.
Yeah.
But
you get
Halloween 3 was great. Go ahead.
Tom Atkins in there. You get Adrian. No, you don't get Adrian Barbeau in that one. I forget what her name is. The dark-haired girl. What was her name?
I don't know her name.
But you get Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins is enough.
OG.
The mask, you got the witch, the pumpkin, and the skeleton mask. The whole silver shamrock setting.
And outside of the main Halloween theme, this is my favorite score.
Yeah,
he
Chariots
got
of
really
Pumpkins.
creative with this score.
Oh, dude, it's so dope.
Synth heavy. It doesn't even incorporate a lot of the Halloween songs from the first two.
It's
It
its own
does
vibe.
its own thing, and it's awesome.
Stacey Nelkin, is that what you're talking about?
She kind of looks like
She
Jessie
played Ellie?
Spano. I know that.
Yeah,
She played Ellie. It has to be who you're talking about.
yeah. She comes back. She's one of the robots or
I think
whatever.
She's like the only female in the movie, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other
pretty
than the
much,
old lady.
As far as the mainstays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the whole Stonehenge part of it gets a little goofy.
Yeah,
and
I
all
mean, the
that.
story's kind of just.
And the effects
Whatever.
are kind of corny. You
That
know,
whole
like
that whole
the
bedroom,
practical
like the living room scene where they're testing out the pumpkin mask on the little boy and the parents.
Yeah.
I think they should have tied that into Halloween later on, like the real Halloween movies later on, and made it be like something with that mask. Maybe the creators of that mask made the mask that Michael had.
There was always
like something like that
of
would
like that being intertwined and all that stuff, but
they never done it.
Yeah, they never done it because of course you never see the little pat. But that could have been before they started putting like the little silver shamrock patches on there.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about this: Halloween 3, $2.5 million budget. Opening weekend, it did 6.3 million, and then it grossed 14 million total. So what I bet happened is opening weekend, it was like booming.
Oh, yeah.
And then it started getting out that it's like, Michael Myers isn't in this. What is this?
Yeah.
And then it still made money, but you got to think in '82, we're way away from the internet being a thing.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't able. So many people were probably still going to see it, and then realizing, well, this doesn't have anything to do with Michael Myers or Loomis or anything.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I think it's a really dope movie, but I totally get why people hate it because it's part of the franchise. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
At all. It doesn't.
What do you not like the most about it?
I just don't like
Doesn't
the
have
movie.
Michael?
I just don't like the movie. I think the acting's not that great in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much the whole franchise. But Michael being in the other movies makes up for the lack
Right.
of acting. I just not. It's more sci-fi feeling.
I
to
totally
it.
get it.
Yeah, and
Totally get
I'm
it.
not a big sci-fi fan.
Once
so-
again, it's just the music for me. If the
I think
music
it's-
wasn't there, I'd probably never watch it.
Do you think it's of all of Carpenter's scores, do you think it's one of the best?
It's one of my favorites.
It's one of the most unique
Yeah.
scores.
I love it, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he has so many. I mean, Halloween, The Fog, all of them are good in their own way.
But I would have been happy with them ending it at Halloween 2 if that's what they wanted to do. If they wanted to keep going down this path, I don't think we would be sitting here talking
It's easy
about.
to say that
yeah,
now, though.
I don't think we'd be talking about
In
Halloween
1981,
franchises.
you'd probably be like, they need to keep
Yep,
making them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then they tease you because they give you just a split second of
Yeah.
Michael Myers in
No,
there.
they show the commercial,
Yep. Yep.
the
Yeah,
commercial
it's on
for the
TV.
movie on TV
Yeah.
and everything.
But
Yeah, that's all the Myers get. But I like Chad said, I get where people the disdain for
Totally
it.
do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
100%.
sense.
But
Yep.
and I agree totally with what Jordan said. If the music wasn't in this movie, I wouldn't be a fan of it.
Yeah, that's what brought me back
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about how the score is just as important
huge.
as Michael Myers
It's the
is.
vinyl that I play the most
Yeah.
out of the whole franchise.
Love it.
I've sampled it. Pass the Crown.
Yeah,
It has a
Pass Me
sample
the
in that
Crown.
one.
Yep. Shout out Biz. He mixed one of the songs on my number 22 album, "Pass Me the Crown," and Jordan. I'll put the link in this episode so y'all can check it out.
Yeah,
But
it's got a
it's
Halloween
dope.
3 sample in it and a Friday the 13th
Yep.
Yeah, it's
sample
dope.
in it.
Yeah, shout out to Biz for
Pretty
that one.
fun.
But
Not counting the Phantasm sample that was
Yeah,
already in the
dude.
beat. 3 different ones.
yeah, dude, there's a lot in there, man.
Oh yeah, you ought to see like the behind, like all the stuff that
Yeah, I
he put
showed,
in
I
that.
showed him
track-
the
the
whole
track
project.
house. Yeah.
Oh
in
my
house.
gosh, dude! There's so much stuff in that one song. It's
Track
freaking
house, man.
insane.
Hell yeah.
But now we're getting into man.
These next three that we're going to finish this episode out with, 4, 5, and 6, this trilogy, I'm not a fan of this trilogy at all.
Me either.
You got Halloween 4, 1988. This is the return of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Now here you got a whole different slew of people. It's directed by Dwight Little,
Yep.
and it's written by Donnie Lipsis, Larry Ratner, and Ben Ruffner.
Yeah. John Carpenter is completely away from the franchise now.
Yeah. And this is when you get the introduction of
Jamie,
Jamie.
Danielle Harris.
Danielle Harris, yeah. IMDb on it.
this is my favorite storyline.
You like
This is my favorite timeline of all
the Thorn? The Thorn trip?
Yep,
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I think that because I think it gives them the most the best description and the best motive for the killings.
Okay.
Like you don't really get a motive in any of the other timelines.
Okay.
This one, like if they would have kept going with Jamie and kept going with the family the family timeline, I think that it would have been a lot better than doing this timeline here and then switching the timelines up all over the place.
Because they have because Mike they got him in like a coma or something like
It's
that.
like invalid or something, isn't he?
Yeah, they got him in a
it's
coma.
It's like 10 years after, because it's obvious. In real time, it's 10 years because it's 88.
Yeah.
But in the movie form, it's 10 years after as well. I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opening of the movie is awesome with the whole fall vibe. You got pumpkins everywhere. You got leaves blowing in around.
Yeah.
And then this movie just falls hard for me.
That's rough, bro.
I think the mask is the number one thing that sticks out to me in this movie more than anything.
And the shoulder pads.
And the shoulder pads that he's wearing.
Shoulder pads.
You'll see a picture of you. We'll get a good picture of him where he's clearly standing there and his shoulders are up here. And it's just...
He's fixing to go try out for the Titans.
I mean, he pulls the mask. The mask looks like where he gets it from out of a little drugstore mask. It looks terrible.
So bad.
And you know what's crazy? On IMDb, I'm looking at the budget. $5 million budget. It's the biggest budget yet for Halloween movies. And it did like $6.8 million opening weekend. Total gross was $17 million, so it still made more than 3 times what they put in it.
Yeah.
And this is another one that people
The Return.
This,
A lot of people like
this
it.
trilogy has a cult following.
Oh yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yep.
It definitely does.
People love 4, 5, and 6, man, especially 6, which I'd really
want to
like
like them.
Yeah.
Every time I watch them, I'm like,
I
maybe
wish
this
they
is the
would have.
time.
With as bad as the mask looks, I wish they would have gone with like the whole bandaged head look for this movie instead.
How he is in the beginning.
That would have been
a cool figure.
Yeah, but just that mask, man. And then later on in the movie, when they do the reshoots, you get the blonde hair mask. It's,
God, I mean, like how do you sit on the editing room floor and make the decision? Like you have that scene. He's got blonde hair.
You got to think too the media that you were watching it on. You're watching on one of those little tube TVs, and
but you can see the hair color.
Yeah, but
and how is that okay? Like, it's no big deal.
And the time period, the movies that were made around that time, like
but that's still just a simple like decision. Like, no, it doesn't look like him in any other scene.
Yep.
Why is that in the final cut?
You would think with that kind of budget, they would have been able to straighten that out. But
who's the person that went and bought
CGI?
the mask?
I don't think CGI was very relevant then, if it was even out.
The kid shows up with the mask. All right, here we go for the scene. It's like it's blonde.
And they're like, sure, run it.
No big deal.
No big deal. Let's go for it.
Change his
We're
hair.
good. No one will notice.
Now, what's the final girl that Rachel? I think is her name. I'd like her as a final girl, but dude, that whole rooftop scene where Michael's like tippy-toeing across the rooftop.
Tippy-toeing Michael Myers.
The roof looks like it's made out of plastic.
Yeah, and there's a reason.
Like
I guess that's why he's tippy-toeing across the rooftop.
And then he's like tap dancing across the top of it.
How was that a $5 million budget? Because this has got like the worst effects and
and you got the townspeople rolling around just shooting random people, just shooting poor little teenagers in the street. It's just
weird, bro.
And all the kills are off scene.
Yeah, they don't even show
this one
most
felt more like the most lighthearted.
Like made for TV.
Yeah.
Kind of had a made for TV feel.
It was kind of like Leatherface.
Yeah.
Like the third Texas Chainsaw, same way. Yeah. Which that was, I think, 1990, but this was 88. But it's weird that they started doing that. They started out like with hardly no blood, and then the second one they're like,
let's go for it.
Hammering down on violence, and then third, of course, they it was an offshoot, but they come back with 4, and then they're like not showing. I don't know. It was just weird.
And
it's almost like they tried to make it a little bit more family friendly, just a hair.
I think the most brutal kill in the whole movie is at the begin when he's in the ambulance at the beginning and he puts his thumb through the nurse's forehead.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the most.
Not to mention the highlight is that blonde.
Yeah.
The
giggity blonde.
Oh yeah, the blonde.
Yeah, the giggity blonde. Yeah. And it has. I didn't realize that the main dude in it's from is in Dazed and Confused as well. He wears the overall. I can't think of what his name is in Dazed and Confused, but
tomato. Yeah. So,
but and then I think the other one of the other good scenes is when they're all riding in the truck and everything, and then all of a sudden Michael Myers out of nowhere, he's holding on to the tailgate, comes up to and it's, and then the ending, where she runs into him in the truck, and you could totally tell that it's a dummy. And it's
so
arms are straight up in the air.
$5 million budget. This is the biggest budget they had, and it was the worst effects. And it ain't like they had huge actors. They were the most of that budget went to. Where did the money go? It didn't go in. It didn't go
Somebody's
in
pocket.
Like the costumes.
Didn't go into the mask.
Yeah, it didn't go in the mask. It didn't like the
shoulder pads.
And what's great, Alan Hallworth did the music for it.
Yeah,
Hallworth.
He was always kind of.
He was
his
Carpenter's.
right-hand man.
Yeah, because he helped him with Halloween 3 and 2, I believe. No, just Halloween 3. Yeah.
Yeah, watching it as a kid, it was a lot better than going back and watching it as.
Like I said, every time I watch it, I want to like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
I think it's because it catches that whole the beginning of it. It puts you in the mood for fall, Halloween. It puts you in the mood for a Halloween movie.
And I think Danielle Harris done a great job in both of these movies.
Well, that final scene with her is obviously the thing that stands out the most.
Yeah, for sure.
She's standing at the top of the steps.
Well, and then I think that's in reading stuff. I think that's where they wanted to go with 5 is with Jamie and the whole stuff. But then you got something totally freaking different in Halloween 5.
You want to get right into it?
And roll right into Halloween 5.
Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, a year later, 1989, which I think that's the storyline. So it was like a year after all that stuff happened. And
you could definitely tell that they went right in from 4 into 5 because it's written terribly.
Yeah. And this one's directed and written by Dominique Othenin-Girard.
Yeah, something like that.
Like what? Where the fuck did they come from?
Yeah.
They didn't have anything to do with part 4 or part 6.
I looked up what else they directed. It's a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, and this is another one. Budget on this was $5 million. It made $11 million total, so it made more than twice its even after part 4. So like it's still making money. They're still making. They're doubling their investment even on like part 5.
Yeah.
You know, but part 5 again was
they screwed up so much with this movie. I think.
And then with 4, like. You know, one of the brighter spots of 4 is Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
And then in 5, she's
a mute.
She doesn't talk the whole fucking movie.
She's a freaking mute.
So it's like.
And then that's when we get into all like she's talked like the telepathic.
And then we get full on crazy
psychic.
Loomis. Loomis is outrageous in this one.
Yeah.
He's so over the top. Shout out to our podcast. Subscribe.
And this was his big comeback.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just. And then what ticks me off is like the little 2 cops that are always together, the little joking music they play.
Was that in the 4th one too?
No, it's just in the 5th
just
one.
the 5th one.
Yeah, it's like
the stupid music.
It's like cartoon music.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And the mask. The mask is another.
Man. Mask is so bad.
It
hangs down in the front. It's not tucked in.
The eyes are too big.
Yeah, the hair is weird.
Now the kills are way better in this one than 4. You actually get on camera kills in it, but man, it's just.
I think 4 has the worst kills of the franchise. I mean, you don't see them.
Yeah, you don't even get to see what's going on.
But 5 is just all over the fucking place. And then,
5 is beyond forgettable for me.
And then you get the introduction of the man in black that gets off a freaking bus into the town of Haddonfield. He gets off a fucking bus. He rides the bus into town.
How else was he going to get there?
Drive his own fucking car? I mean, this man in black.
You got to blend in. You got to blend in.
Oh, yeah, he's
stand
dressed
out.
in all black.
Was he Johnny Cash wearing a black cowboy hat? He's wearing spurs on his boots when he walks.
Got to blend
He's
in.
blending in, riding a freaking
Haddonfield
Greyhound
Back to
bus.
the Future 3.
God, the man in black.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with any
It's
of
a
it.
good setup.
What do you like about this one? You like this trilogy?
It's just the nostalgic factor for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, most of these I seen when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, going back and watching them as you get older, you notice the stuff like the mask and some of the just the crazy stuff in it, like the score with the cops and just
like why do that?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do here?
Yeah.
Are you making a horror comedy out of Michael Myers now? It's like
It makes no sense.
makes no sense.
I think they've done a good job continuing the story from 4 to 5, and then they kept that going.
They kept it going.
I just don't understand.
I
I keep coming back to the mask is the most important thing to Michael Myers.
No.
And how can you fuck that up so bad?
I don't know that.
It was
wasn't
the 80s.
important to the people creating the movie, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get where that's
so
like.
easy.
The decade
I mean,
of the 80s.
they're only five.
They
They're only
can't do
5
the
movies
mask
in.
correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
$5 million and you can't get the same.
He
mask
come-
in part 1.
So hard. I just don't understand.
Don Shanks comes out of wardrobe with that hideous looking mask on, and they're like, "Yeah,
They said we'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll shoot around it.
it's just, oh man, it's just 5 fell way down my list after this new franchise debriefing."
Yeah. the legal podcast. So I guess we'll just go to the next one. So this is Part 6. This will be the last one we talk about on this episode.
The Curse of Michael Myers.
Curse of Michael Myers, 1995. This one was written by Daniel Farrens and directed by Joe Chappelle.
Yeah.
Again,
no relation to Dave Chappelle.
Different directors. For this to be a trilogy, like there's no
continuity.
Yeah, continue.
That's not a real word.
I don't think so, Tony. I could be wrong.
It's okay. We'll make it up.
Continuity.
There's no.
That's not a real word. I just totally made that up.
There's no consistency. I think that's what you was meaning to say, maybe. Or
There's a word there. I don't know what it is.
That's a clip, though. Clip it. Continuity.
But yeah. Word?
So this.
You're good with words. Why do you not know this?
I'm thinking of it like there's no. Is it continuity?
That's it. That's the word I was looking for.
I said continuity. I didn't say it right. I meant to say
sounded right.
Continuity.
Continuity.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so,
thank you, sir.
That's the word I was looking for. But part 6, man. This one. This is another one, bro. The story of this one is insane.
It's all
takes
butchered
place
up.
6 years after. He's after like Jamie and her baby or something.
Yeah, and this what gets me is like in Halloween 5, Jamie is what?
But
how old is Jamie in Halloween 5? Like 9 years old?
maybe, yeah, somewhere around there.
Like 15.
So she's having a baby
15.
at 15 in Halloween 6?
And people always talk about the incest thing. She was artificially inseminated. It wasn't an incest thing. She was artificially.
It never came to my conclusion.
They took
how
a
she got
turkey
pregnant.
baster, and that's how she.
Jeez.
That's how it happened. I'm telling you,
That
it
all
wasn't.
went over my head.
It wasn't.
Continuity.
It wasn't incest. It was.
I'd never thought about how she got pregnant.
Yeah.
But
It was Michael's baby, but I mean, this
See,
is
I
turned
always
into
got
Jerry
those
Springer.
vibes, like,
That was definitely Jerry Springer.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, it was Michael's baby,
And then Danielle Harris did want to come back for this movie.
and they
but-
should have brought her back.
and they didn't want to bring her back because she was wanting what I read that it was like $5,000 or $7,000.
She's She's coming off at "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead," bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 91. Man.
But I think she wanted like $5,000 for the role, and they wouldn't pay her.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah,
The budget for this movie was $5 million. Again, all three of them was $5 million apiece. They didn't want to give her $5,000 to come back.
yeah.
They should have.
Where the fuck did the money go? Paul Rudd was in this, but this
this
is
is
Paul
to
Rudd.
that
This is
seance?
Clueless.
To that
This is
This is his
seance
first movie,
scene.
so like he's not asking for a bag.
Yeah.
Like so
There's
it's
no
like-
big actors in the movie.
No, and this is one that's got such a following, and I don't understand it. It's literally got a cult following
Yeah.
in the movie,
Yeah.
and like there's for the movie, it's like that. You know?
Yeah, because you have the theoretical version, and then you have the producer's cut that
I haven't even
adds like
watched
8
it.
minutes. I think
Did
8
that make
minutes.
Is the ending way different?
I think the ending they had to do some reshoots because of course this is Loomis passed away
Yep.
with this movie, so they brought back some reshoots for the Loomis character, or Pleasance passed away. But they had to use a body double instead. That's why you never see in the producer's cut. You never see Loomis's head in the ending of it and everything.
The kills are way better in this one.
Oh yeah, it's amped up a notch.
Just the whole cult thing just lost me.
It
does.
the
it's
man
just
in
like
black,
you're
and
getting
then
away from Michael Myers at this point.
and then the leader of the cult is a doctor, one of Dr. Loomis's buddies.
But it gives you a story to it. Might not be a great one because he was after Lori because of that, and then after Lori's gone, he goes to Lori's seed, which is Jamie, and then he goes to Jamie's seed once she's gone,
Yeah,
which is also his child.
You've got it all figured out.
these
He does.
convoluted timelines, man. I swear.
But like 1, 2,
It's hard.
4, 5, and 6, that's the timeline,
Yeah.
and it's all based on family.
And the thing that's crazy too about
And a
this
thorn
one,
tattoo and constellations. Ain't that what they say in something like that?
yeah, it's just too many.
It's a bunch of stuff I don't care about.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm not watching Halloween movie and I know people are going to say, well, Power 3 wasn't. I get that, but now you've came back and decided where it's about Michael Myers for sure from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Part 6 comes and it's like, well, it's not about Michael Myers exclusively. It's about this and that and all this other weird cult stuff. I get it though. People love this movie though, man.
I will say the mask looks better in this one. Out of the
minus
thorn,
the Chris Kattan black hair.
yeah, and the
style
blue
that he
lips.
has.
Yeah, he has blue lips.
Minus the black hair and the blue lips. Yeah.
I thought the blue lips was 5.
No, the blue lips
that
is 6.
Okay.
It's like a light shade of blue lips,
Yeah.
but the mask does look better. I'll give them that because
Yeah,
I think
it's
I think they took a mold off the original mask or tried to get a best mold off the original mask. But yes, the hair is outrageous as well. It's Chris Kattan hair, sprinkles out everywhere.
It's ridiculous. The thing that's crazy too about this one, the budget was $5 million and it made almost $16 million.
That's crazy.
So
It's
like,
all in the title.
it's all
at
Michael
that
Myers'
point, like,
money.
Exactly.
But the thing that's interesting about this is like this is 6 years after Part 5. Before it was 78, and then Part 2 was 81, and then Part 3 was 82, and then Part 4 was 88, and then 80. But then you've got a 6-year gap again, and you're in the mid 90s now at this point. So the kills were good in this one.
Yeah, it was cool how they brought back the Tommy Doyle character and everything, but it's kind of the story of everything where he's a total creeper watching women undress across the street through his
like
little
peeping Tom, peeping Tommy Doyle.
And then the dad is a total douchebag in it.
Yeah, super douche.
But I didn't really watching it again. I didn't put that together. That the dad was the brother of the Strode or something like that. What was it?
Yeah, he's Laurie's uncle.
Laurie's uncle. Okay, gotcha. Just to bring in, and they were living in the
old Michael Myers house.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So,
but yeah, man, I mean,
because nobody would buy it.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, who would want to buy it?
Yep.
Not us, said the fly.
No.
See, a lot of callbacks and just continuality.
What was that word?
Continuously.
Continuously. He said continuality, which I think is even cooler. But that's this has been part 1. I think we're right at 45 minutes.
Perfect.
This has been the part 1 of the Halloween franchise. Parts 1 through 6. Y'all let us know in the comments like what y'all thought of these first 6 films. Where do they kind of sit with you? Do you feel as strongly one way or the other about 3 as us and Chance do? Because me, Jordan, and Tony are kind of all pro 3, and he's anti 3, which I get. And it's kind of the opposite for the trilogy.
Yep.
Like you like 4, 5, and 6, and we really don't like 4, 5, and 6 like that. But y'all just let us know, man, what y'all think. And
this next episode is going to get heated.
And we'll talk about our complete rankings at the end of the next one.
At the end of part 2. So, again, thank y'all so much for the support, man. Be sure to hit the sponsors up. Trouble Spirits, Nixon Pro Media, Revolution 1 Media. Shout out to the Natural Disasters.
We out this motherfucker.
Bow.
Man.